Are you thinking about buying or selling a house, or just want to know what might be going on with one of your biggest investments? Then come hang out with us for a little while. Hi, I'm Kirk Duckwall, and welcome to the Twin Cities Real Estate Show on AM 950, and soon to be on the CW23 Friday mornings at 8:30. We are sponsored by Bricks Real Estate, Network Title, Eric Bloomstrand and Chad Preby with Bell Bank Mortgage, Structure Tech Home Inspections, James Tolson with Country Financial, along with Cregan's Construction and Gray Duck Staging and Design. Check us out online anytime at TwinCitiesRealEstateShow.com. There you can find past shows, our weekly market updates, along with the latest and greatest free searching and researching tools, and our free publications, the Smart Home Buyer, Smart Seller book. I'd like to welcome in studio with me, Chad Preby, as always. Thank you for coming in.
Good to see you guys again.
And Ben Greilanger, House Geeks team. Hey, that's our team.
Heck yeah.
Yes, House Geeks team's Bricks Real Estate. Today, we're going to be talking just a kind of grab bag of real estate show again here. We love doing those. If you have any questions for us, give us a call, 651-303-0019. Again, 651-303-0019. Happy to help answer any of your real estate questions or assist with your real estate needs. All right, grab bag. The market's slowing down.
That's good news.
Well, it is, and some sellers might go, well, why is it good that the market's slowing down? And just because this market's slowing down doesn't mean that homes are selling for less. Right? Not necessarily, right? Because prices tend to hold pretty level. You know, sometimes some little peaks and lulls throughout the summer, but not very big differentials at all.
Right.
But the slowing down, it gets, and we're going to talk more about that, about not being in a rush in a sense, right? That this urgency that buyers and sellers have had to make or accept offers, it can give you a second to kind of plan a little better.
Right.
And we're going to talk more about that, but the slowing. Our market meter, which is the calculation that I have that factors showings per listing, along with housing affordability and inventory, although still at a 10 Twin Cities wide, we're starting to see areas that are falling off of that. So a 10 is an extreme seller's market. We've never experienced a 10 previously in the Twin Cities that I can find record of, going back and running the calculation. So we've been at that for almost 2.5, 3 months now. But we are seeing certain pieces of that starting to fall off. So the housing affordability, homes have become less affordable as prices have gone up.
Right.
Rates obviously moved up a little bit. Now still below 3, so they're great.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
For example, like Minneapolis is an 8.22. Now that's still a very strong seller's market. But
Right.
it's just not the 10 that we were at a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it's gone from like scorching hot to very hot.
Very hot, you can still
Right.
burn yourself.
Right,
Yes.
yeah. I like what you brought up, Kirk, is not being in a rush. I think it gives you the peace of mind to make a decision and be comfortable with that decision. Right?
Well, the rushing can lead to frustration. It's almost like you feel rushed to just pick a house.
Yeah.
Because, and now there's going to become breathing room. I mean, I had this listing, and, thank goodness I watched the stats like I do, because we were able to adjust our listing price strategy kind of on the fly. Right before we went to market, I said, hey, why don't we flip strategies and actually price on the higher end, because the velocity of the market has slowed enough that I don't feel like we're going to get the multiple offers we need to drive the price really, really high. So maybe the best that we're going to get now is at this price point. And that's where we priced it. And in the same neighborhood 2 weeks ago, I think it was like 25-ish showings on a similar priced home and 6 offers. For this house, it was 9 showings and 1 offer. Now, we still got a full price offer,
Right.
Cash, no inspection, so no complaints there.
Yeah, but good strategy.
By changing, and Ben, you were mentioning, I mean, it's been a cash or conventional world out there for buyers for the last 3 months, and you just
working with an FHA buyer, a little bit more of a challenge, but we definitely started seeing properties staying on the market a little bit longer. Seeing more price reductions out there a little bit more, so it seems like the demand has slowed, and we were able to get one in that was on on the market for 6 days.
Yeah.
And,
Oh my gosh, what's wrong
I
with
know,
it?
I was like, what?
Right.
And we went to see it, and I was like,
Right.
what is wrong with it? There's nothing really wrong with it.
Right.
So we were able to get that locked in. So that it was super
And
rewarding.
that's a common
Excellent
misnomer.
work.
Is that time on market directly relates to condition? And no, it doesn't necessarily relate to condition. You know, that a house that is on the market for a little longer may have just been priced too high for the activity that
Right.
was on that home. And that can happen in any market. And this is why we see the average days on market isn't 4. The average is, 27. It's because houses do overprice.
Yeah.
Talking about that, overpricing, there can be, good deals to be found in these houses that sit for a while, like you're talking about, that maybe are poised to do a price reduction. And I always like to catch a home before it does the price reduction.
Mhm.
Yep.
Or even more so, you can get the double whammy home that comes back on the market and then does a price reduction, right?
Yeah.
That maybe something happened in an inspection.
Right.
And inspections, a buyer has it, and different buyers feel very differently depending on who their inspector was and how they were prepared for a home of a particular age. I mean, I've seen somebody back away from a very, very good house. Luckily, it wasn't my buyer, but it was the way how we got in the door, because a piece of concrete was slightly sloped towards the home.
Oh.
Right? Super common for a house built in the, I think it was like 1905 or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Now, maybe that wasn't the reason they backed out, but that's the reason they gave. And we were able to come in and get the house at a really good price.
Very
And
good.
so sometimes, minor objections may be looked upon more seriously by one buyer versus another, and you could take advantage of that. So I love looking at those back on market properties. All right, Chad, we're talking about a really great new conventional, that's what I really want to hit on, loan product that is out there, because conventional is so powerful when buying today.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up. So Bell Mortgage has an exclusive product that is offering on a conventional mortgage with 1% down. So this isn't a program for everybody. If you have 3% down to 5% down, then we want to stick to your traditional conventional Home Possible, Home Ready. This program it goes down to a 620 credit score.
Okay.
So you can get into conventional financing with a 620 credit score up to a 45% debt to income. Now, if you have a credit score at a 640, we're going up to 50%. So this is going to open up the doors for some of these folks
50%
that
DTI?
DTI.
That's it. Okay.
So if you're out there and you're maybe looking at Minnesota Housing for down payment assistance, this might get you into a conventional loan without having to utilize that grant money with 1% down.
That's huge.
Yes.
The other thing that got me really interested when you brought this up, not just the qualifying score to get into conventional, but the mortgage insurance piece of the pie.
Huge.
Yeah.
So lender paid mortgage insurance. So what's going to happen is we're going to build in the mortgage insurance into basically the rate. Okay.
Right.
So the lender's going to pay for that mortgage insurance up front.
Wait, do you mean there's factors that factor into what your interest rate is going to be?
My gosh, there is, Kirk.
Yes.
We talk
Yes.
about
Yeah,
that
yeah,
quite a
yeah.
bit. So yeah, lender paid mortgage insurance, you guys. So what this does, this is going to save you money on your payment every month because you're not going to have that monthly mortgage insurance.
That could be potentially hundreds of dollars.
It could
a month.
potentially be hundreds of dollars because your mortgage insurance is driven on your credit score. So if you have a 620 or a 640 credit score, that mortgage insurance premium is going to be very expensive. So this is a win-win situation.
Yeah, I mean that's $100, $150, $180 dollars a month towards mortgage insurance. That's a lot of buying power.
It is
You know,
huge.
I mean, that could be 20, 25,000 or more that somebody could use towards buying something, a little different if that's what they need.
Take your offer price from a 300 to a 330 maybe, and
Yeah, and these days you're basically you're getting there without paying more, and that in definitely certain locations could be the difference of having options for houses and not having options for houses. I mean, especially when we're talking single family homes. I mean, there are a lot of areas that even 3 or 4 years ago were solid 260 to 300s that are now 300s to 325 minimums.
For sure. Yeah, I like that. Options.
Right.
That's a good point. This opens up more avenues for you as far as liquidity with your money. Right. Again, this isn't for everybody.
Yeah,
but
I'd much rather put the money towards a house than just putting it towards mortgage insurance. All right.
Correct.
Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break. As always, if you have any questions for us or need our assistance, real estate needs, 651-303-0019. We'll be right back. All the beeps.
So many beeps.
Sounds like a launch warning.
Yeah, I like it.
Self-destruct sequence has been initiated. Oh, God. Seems like every video game I played growing up had that. Just that was the end.
A game over.
Right.
Are we ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. Welcome back to the Twin Cities Real Estate Show. If you have any questions for us after the show, you can give us a call, 651-303-0019. Again, 651-303-0019. Also, make sure you check us out at TwinCitiesRealEstateShow.com. There you'll find all the latest and greatest searching and researching tools. Actually, right at this exact moment, you might not, as we're doing some site improvements, so you can go to brickstwincities.com. But yes, Twin Cities Real Estate Show should get you there in the future. Today, just a grab bag of real estate, just talking about different things going on. Talked a little bit about the market slowing down. Although still very hot, it is slowing down. It should become better. Better there for buyers. Actually, on that market meter, if I was to adjust that just for 1 week, we would be below 10. But because the market meter is a 30-day look back,
right,
that's why it is where it is. But it's designed that way so it's not super reactive to minor changes.
Exactly. Well, and it's given us good indications of where the market's going.
Yes, absolutely.
That's
and
the
then we
purpose.
just week after week, we're 6 weeks running now of falling numbers. So that's going to make it easier for buyers and come up with a plan for listings as well. Like we said, it doesn't always necessarily affect prices as much. Okay, so something we talked about a few weeks back, and I wanted to get some clarification because I didn't even have it straight in my head, was investment property and purchasing. You had mentioned that it could affect things by a couple of points. I had kind of taken that as an interest rate hike of 2%. Right.
Okay.
And that's not really exactly how it pans out. So if somebody, is quoted to buy a house, let's say 3%, but that's same person is going to buy a investment property.
Right.
How would that transition?
Yeah, good question. Let's clarify that because we don't want to scare people away. There has been a change if you're in the investment property or if you're looking to purchase an investment property. The pricing to get to the interest rate has changed. So the points, you've ever heard of discount points? It's the cost to get to that rate. So that cost has now increased by 2 points, which usually is about 0.75 to 1% increase in rates. Depending on, again, we talk about this often, your credit score, your down payment, property type.
Now,
so on and so
hasn't
forth.
that always been the case, though? There's some increase in rate with an investment property,
Yeah,
typically?
there has.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is. They're pricing adjusters is basically what
Yeah,
it is.
I've always, back when rates were at 4, I'm like, investment property, 5 or 6%.
Yeah,
That's kind of what I assumed.
Yep. So you can add on probably, just to be safe, probably 1% to the rate
Okay.
from a owner occupied to an investment.
But, that's enough of an adjustment that, may obviously affect your cash flow. So you want to make sure you're looking at that.
Exactly. I just locked one in, and I think we were in the mid 4s. So ultimately the conversation, investment property. The conversation I had with the client was, work your numbers again just to make sure it's.
But talking about how good rates are, I know you said, earlier this week you had like a traditional conventional buyer, and it was 2875, right?
2875. I locked one in yesterday at 2875.
So people who missed the original refi opportunity may have another chance now.
Yeah.
Right, Carly?
Yep. It's a conversation you want to have. I mean, rates are amazing, and I think they're going to stay that way. We might see another little increase in rates here. They're going to talk about the inflation on Friday. ADP came out last Friday and wasn't as good as we thought. Didn't move the rates much, though, even though my phone was blowing up with an alert to lock. They didn't.
When was this?
This was last Friday.
Oh, last Friday. Okay, because I know you mentioned that Monday. Okay,
Yep,
I didn't,
yep.
All right.
So I think right now some people are saying float, which means don't lock in your rate. Let's see what the market's going to react on Friday. Me personally, I recommend locking in. We're still in an interest rate environment that you were just saying we have never seen before. So I'm that type of person where I'm not much of a risk taker when it comes to this type of money. I mean, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we can take advantage of a 2.875.
That's pretty darn good.
Yeah, let's get it locked in. That's my recommendation. Absolutely.
So, something I've been hearing a lot, and I'm getting it from both the buy and the sell side. Sellers, they want to rush because they want to take advantage of the market before it starts going down. Well, guess what? The activity's going down, but like I said, prices isn't probably going to move all that much.
Right.
So what we want to do is take a breath, right, and come up with a plan. And buyers, it's kind of the same thing, right? That hey, we're excited, we want to buy a home. Well, let's take a breath and come up with a plan. Does it really make sense to jump in, let's say, to a market where 40 to 50% of buyers, depending on the week, are waiving inspections? And what's funny is we talk about how the market, we're seeing the shift where we're getting down to only 1 or 2 offers on properties. Now, that's not the case for everyone. Yeah, there's properties, there's going to be 4 or 5 offers on there. But does that really mean you should be waiving an inspection when the market has slowed that much? So taking some time to plan out, hey, do we need to buy today, or can we buy in 30 days? Maybe when we don't have to make these sacrifices. Maybe when we don't have to, give every last negotiating piece to the seller, where we can retain some of that on our side.
That is huge that you just said that. Yeah.
It's having that home buyer priority checklist is so important, and it's really sticking to that, because that is kind of your plan for where you're going to buy, what you're going to buy. And so if you can really just really focus in on that, you might have to tweak it a little bit, but really knowing what your top 3 priority pieces are and really sticking to that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't have anybody who, our Maple Grove buyers last summer, where they were very frustrated with how the market was. And it was not a fun market to be in. It was tough, losing out left and right. And then what happened? The market slowed. Boom, they got a great house. They loved the house.
Yep.
They were very happy that they waited.
It's kind of it's a blessing that it, they went through that.
Be patient.
Yeah, you really want to be patient. And for sellers, the market's slowing down, but not necessarily prices dropping. If they do, it's not going to be tons at all. And what you could lose by not preparing far outweighs what you might gain by rushing. Because underprepared home, we see them; they sit.
And we're not seeing the huge influx of listings. 15, 2,000 listings every week coming on to wash the market, where it's like there isn't a rush. There's still very healthy demand for properties. You don't have to rush to get that property on to compete with all these new listings. So just take your time, make sure it's ready to go, and then get it on.
Yep, it's just don't rush. I can never stress that enough. Let's talk about something that came up. I was doing a couple listing appointments yesterday, and I get this question, and I don't. Again, I can't blame anybody for asking the question, because it's the question we've been taught to ask. Just like what's your interest rate is a question we've been taught to ask. We haven't been taught to ask the right question, which is how do I get to the best interest rate, right? So we talk about that. But there's also a question regarding commission. So often we get what's your commission? Where the real question should be, because, first of all, commissions typically only vary by 1% or 2%, throughout the Twin Cities. No matter what anybody says, you put up your 1% listing fee. Okay, that's what they're charging on the list side. See what they're doing for a buy side payout, which is then total plus any other fees that they might be charging. Right? These companies aren't doing this for the good of their heart. Right? And then what are their returns? The real question as a seller out there you want to ask is, what's your rate of return? Now, what do I mean by that? Well, they can run what is their percentage above or below the average for any given neighborhood that they may be selling in, and show what is their rates of return or location. And there's a calculation to this. I have a great video that put out a while ago that kind of goes over this. But ask that question, because that's the real question. I mean, is if you have a seller or a company that's getting 8 to 10%, 14% above the average for the area, maybe that's who you want to use, not the person who's shaving 1% off their commission.
Yeah, like that 1 or 2%. How much is that worth if they can get you 8% more?
Well, and I had this client. I mean, got a couple seconds to go here, but I had this client about a month ago, and we talked about how as a strategy we would start at 300,000, but expect that we could get anywhere from 310 to 315. We were able to get an offer for 325. Wow. But thank goodness I had the commission where I did, because an issue came up with the furnace, and I was able to leverage that commission to keep that deal alive. If not, we would have lost a 325 offer.
Yeah. Wow.
So sometimes that commission is worth having there to do that leveraging. All right, hopefully you found this information helpful today. As always, you can give us a call, 651-303-0019, and check us out at brickstwincities.com.